Second, the person has to frighten himself from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's might over me is much greater than my might over so and so. So if I punish him, I don't know if I'll be saved from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Abbas once was walking in the street and a man insulted him. And Ibn Abbas said to his servant, see if he has any need that we can fulfill for him. The man was very ashamed with the statement of Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhum. The third, the person has to think about the consequences of anger and also the consequences of taking revenge. And he should just be forbearing and remind himself always with the forgiveness. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz radiallahu anhu once entered the masjid when he was the prince of the believer. He was making round during the night. He entered the masjid and he stumbled upon somebody. The person looked at him and he said, are you crazy? Were you look where you're going? Were you watch where you're going? Are you blind? Umar ibn Abdul Aziz answer to that was no. But his soldiers were about to punish this person. How dare you talk to the prince of the believer in such a way? Then Umar prevented them from punish this person and he asked me, are you crazy? And I said, no. Also, the person has to remind himself of how ugly his appearance is when he's angry. A man wanted to convey a message, an evil, ill message to Wahb ibn Munabbih. And he said, so and so abused you. And Wahb said, and you are the only messenger that the shaitan has found to convey such a message to me. These are the remedy of anger, brothers and sisters. But what should we do during the time of fitna? What should we do during the time of fitna? There is some attitude that the Muslim has to adopt during the time of fitna. So that fitna will not have a negative impact upon him, or that he will have also a negative impact on the others around him. And one of these attitudes is deliberation, forgiveness, and gentleness. Those are very praiseworthy characteristics, especially in the time of fitna. Because it makes the person see things as they really are. And it makes him understand everything around him. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was always praising the gentleness. He said sallallahu alayhi wasallam, there is no gentleness in anything but it makes it beautiful. And the absence of gentleness in anything makes it ugly. And he said to Ashaj Abdul Qais, فِيكَ خِصْلَتَانِ يُحِبُّهُمَ اللَّهِ. You have two characteristics which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves, al-hilm wal-anah, forbearance and deliberation. So the Muslim has to be gentle in his decisions. And he also should not be hasty, because this is not the way that we should act, especially during the time of fitna. The other thing is sabr, patience. And we are in a great need of patience. We are in a great need of patience, especially during the time of fitna. With patience, the difference between those who are determined and confident and those who are weak will become evident. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to advise the Muslims to be patient during the beginning of Islam. When the Muslims were persecuted and treated like dirt in Mecca, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pass by them and remind them to be patient. And he passed by the family of Yasir, Ammar ibn Yasir, and he used to say, Sabran ala Yasir, fa inna maw'idukum al-jannah. Patience, O family of Yasir, for you are promised the Jannah. And Al-Mustawrid al-Qurashi said, Wallahi, the hour will begin when the Roman will be the greatest people in number. Amr ibn al-As said to him, watch what he said. He said, Wallahi, I've heard that from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, if you say so, then I have to mention some of their virtues. They are the most patient people at the times of tribulation. They recover quickly at the time of calamity and also the time of defeat. They are nice to the poor and the orphans. And they resist the oppressions of kings. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, beautiful patience. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the help that we get. Remember Ahmad ibn Hanbal, rahimahullah, at the time of the overwhelming fitna of those who said the Quran was created. And he bore all these hardships with patience until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him victory and relieve his distress. Muslim also should not take sides immediately, because the cautious Muslim is careful. He does not jump into conclusions. He remains objective. He tries to collect all informations from all sides and all resources with a sound mind and a pure heart. And also, he does not let any old problems between himself and one of the parties to influence his judgment and lead him to take sides. If he did so, then this is a crime. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا اعْدِلُوا هُوَ أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. Do not let enmity and hatred avoid you from justice. اعْدِلُوا, be just. These are nearer to the piety. And Abdurrahman ibn Shumasa, he said, I came to Aisha radiallahu anha to ask her about something. And she asked me, where are you from? I said, I'm from Egypt. She said, what was the behavior of the governor of yours at the time of war? He said, Wallahi, we haven't experienced anything bad from him. If any of us lost his camel, he would give us one. If any of us lost his slave, he would give him one. If any of us in need for basic necessities in life, he will provide provisions for him. Then she said, that what happened to my brother Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr will not prevent me from what I've heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Her brother was killed in Egypt, Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, and the governor of Egypt was accused of his killing. And then she said, what happened to my brother will not prevent me from saying what I've heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. She said, Wallahi, I've heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives some sort of authority to somebody over some people and he become hard upon them, so Allah be hard on him. And if he becomes good and nice to them, so Allah be good to him. And Imam Nawawi, in his commentary in this hadith, he said that indicates that we have to mention the virtues of those who we don't like. The last point is turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First, make a tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this message to all parties, make a tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For all the backbiting that you did, for all the false accusation that you said about your brothers and sisters. Make a tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for highlighting a defect of your brothers and sisters in open. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, يَا مَعْشَرَ مَنْ آمَنَ بِلِسَانِهِ وَلَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِقَلْبِهِ. Oh, those who believed in their tongues but the iman didn't reach their hearts. لَا تَغْتَابُ النَّاسِ. Do not backbite people. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا عَوْرَاتِهِمْ. And do not follow their defects. And whoever follow a defect of a Muslim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will follow his and expose him in front of his family. So make a tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your dua, in your dhikr, in your qiyam. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show you the truth. And make the truth and falsehood clear as crystal. And remind yourself with the rights of brotherhood. And before I finish, I just wanted to tell you, it will be over soon, inshallah. It will be over soon, inshallah. And again, for those brothers and sisters who embrace Islam lately, do not let all these things shake your iman or have a negative impact on your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And matter of fact, I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam 6 days ago. And he did something in a dream that implies to me that these things, inshallah, will end soon. جزاكم الله خيرا. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم اغفر المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين. اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين في بلاد الإسلام. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين في بلاد الإسلام. اللهم انصر الإسلام في ليبيا. اللهم انصر المسلمين في ليبيا. اللهم انصر المسلمين في اليمن. اللهم انصرهم في سائر بقاع الأرض يا رب العالمين. آمين آمين آمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين. الحمد لله.